It is Saturday, January 24, 2026. And the headline we are looking at today is, well, it's impossible to ignore. It is flashing red across every financial terminal, every intelligence report coming out of Moscow.
It is. The headline is, Russia's 2026 economic collapse has begun.
And that's a bold statement. I mean, we've heard predictions like this for years, haven't
We
we?
have, but the data dropping this month, it's painting a picture that is frankly undeniable. The math has just stopped working for them.
Okay, before we jump into the absolute chaos, and chaos really is the only word for it, a quick shout out.
Absolutely.
If you want to stay ahead of the curve and support the truth, you have to subscribe to Defense Reports. It is your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. You do not want to miss what they have coming.
Essential reading, honestly, for anyone tracking this.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Aurea.
And in this deep dive by Defense Report, we're doing a sharp, no-nonsense breakdown of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And today. Today we are covering a convergence of events that, I mean, it feels like the climax of a techno thriller, except it's real.
It's very real. We're looking at a secret gold sell-off that is just staggering.
We're talking about Russia's supposed forever friend literally pulling the plug on Russian energy imports as of, what, 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago. And we're talking about internal chaos that sounds like something out of a medieval succession crisis.
Right. There are credible reports that Ramzan Kadyrov's son, his potential successor, is in the ICU after a, quote, mysterious car crash.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Russian generals are being caught red-handed, lying about capturing cities they definitely do not control.
It's the perfect storm. You have economic exhaustion, total labor collapse, and battlefield failures all hitting at the exact same moment, the start of 2026.
So let's unpack this, because the thing that really jumped out at me from the reports we went through was the gold. You know, you always hear about the National Wealth Fund as this unshakable piggy bank for Russia.
This fortress of financial solitude.
Exactly. The numbers we're seeing. Is the piggy bank empty?
It's not just empty. They have smashed the porcelain and are scraping the floorboards. Let's look at the hard stats, because the velocity of this is terrifying if you're a Russian central banker.
Okay.
In May 2022, right at the start of the full-scale invasion, Russia had 554.9 tons of gold in that fund.
Okay, so nearly 555 tons. That was the rainy day fund, the buffer against sanctions.
That was it. Now, fast forward to today, January 2026.
And the number is?
160.2 tons.
Wait, run that by me again. 160?
That's right. They've sold nearly 71% of their liquid gold reserves in less than 4 years.
71%, and you're stressing the word liquid there. Why is that distinction so important?
Because Russia will claim they still have money in the fund. But most of that is tied up in stakes in Russian companies, like Gazprom or Rosneft companies that no one outside of Russia wants to touch. The gold was their liquidity. It was the only thing they could easily trade for hard currency.
And they're not exactly shouting this from the rooftops, are they? It's not like they're announcing a gold sale.
No, of course not. That would crash the price and signal absolute panic. It's being moved quietly into anonymous accounts at the central bank. It's a desperate liquidation of the family silver.
It tells us the sanction-proofing strategy has, well, it's failed. They're burning the furniture to heat the house.
Precisely, which connects directly to this concept I know you picked up on.
The junkyard economy. I love that term. It's so visceral. But what does it actually look like on the ground?
It's a term that captures this very specific kind of inefficiency. Normally, heavy defense spending creates some technological spillover, right? New tech, modernization.
Sure.
But Russia is funneling money into aging, dysfunctional sectors. They're pumping cash into 1970s-era factories just to refurbish 1980s-era tanks.
So they're maximizing output, but minimizing any kind of innovation. They're looking backward, not forward.
They're sacrificing long-term economic health for short-term battlefield output. It's economic cannibalization. And the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, they've caught on. They just slashed Russia's 2026 growth forecast. They were already predicting an anemic 1%.
And now?
Now they're saying 0.8%.
That's basically a rounding error away from zero. It's stagnation.
Total stagnation. The sugar rush of military spending that propped up the GDP numbers in 2024 and 2025, it's over. The sugar is gone, and now they're just dealing with the crash.
And they're dealing with the bill. The government still has to pay for this war somehow. I saw the value-added tax. The VAT is jumping to 22%?
That's right, starting this year. And that hits every single transaction in the economy. Plus, they're introducing new taxes on smartphones, laptops. They're desperate.
So the war isn't just on TV anymore for the average Russian. It's hitting them every time they buy groceries.
Every single time. Which brings us to the other side of the revenue coin, because if you're spending all this money, you'd hope your main income source energy is doing well.
Right. And here's where the narrative really breaks down. We have to talk about China.
The China shock. And I think this is the most underreported story of January 2026.
We've been told for years about this unlimited alliance. Russia pivots to Asia, China buys everything, problem solved. But the trade data for January 1st, China has stopped buying Russian electricity. Completely.
Completely 0 megawatts.
Why? Is this Xi Jinping sending a political signal?
It's actually worse than that. It's purely economic. Russia has neglected its domestic energy infrastructure for years to fund the military. Then they pushed through this market liberalization scheme in their Far East.
Throw it, have it.
The infrastructure is rotting, so the result wasn't investment. It was a massive price spike. Electricity prices in the Russian Far East surged up to 42%.
So Russian electricity just generated debt. It became too expensive for China to buy.
Exactly. It exceeded domestic Chinese prices. Beijing just looked at the price tag and said, no thanks, it's uneconomical.
Wow. That is a brutal reality check. It turns out the unlimited alliance has a limit, and that limit is the bottom line.
It contradicts the entire narrative Putin has been selling. China is not a charity. They won't subsidize Russian inefficiency. And this comes as their oil and gas revenues are already crashing down 24% in 2025.
That's the scissors effect, isn't it?
Yes. One blade is rising costs from sanctions. The other blade is falling global commodity prices. And as those blades close, the profit margin gets cut to ribbons.
It feels like the walls are closing in financially. Yeah. But money is only one part of it. You need people to run an economy, to fight a war, and from what we're seeing, Russia is running out of humans.
The demographic situation is catastrophic. We are looking at a labor shortage of about 12 million workers.
12 million. That's not a hiring crunch. That's a functional void. That's the population of a small European country just gone.
Gone, and we know where they went. The meat grinder is a huge part of it. Independent investigations confirm over 200,000 soldiers killed. And that's deaths, not casualties.
The deaths. Add the wounded, the disabled, and then the great exodus of all the tech professionals who fled mobilization.
It's a brain drain and a body drain at the same time.
But wasn't the plan to fix this with migration? I remember their 2026 economic plan relied heavily on importing labor.
That was the plan. They set a quota where 92% of incoming migrants were supposed to be skilled workers to plug these holes.
Let me guess. They didn't show up.
They are staying away in droves, and why would they? Xenophobic rhetoric in Russia rose by 720% in 2024 alone. The ruble is weak. Migrants from Central Asia are looking at Russia and saying, it's not worth the risk.
It's like throwing a party and realizing not only did the guests not come, but the caterers quit and the house is on fire.
That's a very apt analogy, and it leads to a wage price spiral. A labor shortage means wages go up, which fuels inflation, but productivity is down. So the central bank has to keep interest rates sky high.
What are we talking?
21%.
21% interest.
Yeah.
That kills business growth.
Yeah.
You can't borrow money to build anything at 21%.
Exactly. It's a trap. They're killing the civilian economy just to save the currency.
Speaking of traps, let's pivot to the battlefield. Because if the economy's a mess, you try to distract everyone with military victories. But even that is falling apart. We need to talk about Kupiansk.
This is a fascinating case study in the disconnect between the Kremlin and reality. General Gerasimov has been telling leadership they've captured Kupiansk. They claim they took nearby villages. They're painting arrows on a map in Moscow.
But the soldiers on the ground are seeing something different.
Completely different. And it's not just Ukraine saying this. It's the pro-war Russian mill bloggers on Telegram who are furious. They're refuting these claims in real time with geolocated proof.
I heard about that flag-raising video. That felt particularly desperate.
It really sums it up. Russian units were ordered to film a fake flag-raising video to prove they took a town. Do it for the gram, essentially. And while they were trying to stage this propaganda video, they were spotted and destroyed by Ukrainian forces.
Grimly ironic. Dying to fake a victory because you can't achieve a real one?
It shows the command structure is broken. It's what analysts call vranyo, a culture of lying, where everyone knows it's a lie, but everyone pretends it's true.
Meanwhile, Ukraine isn't just holding ground, they're innovating. That Sting drone, that feels like a real tech leap.
It is. It's a new interceptor drone. We've seen it successfully down a Russian Shahed 136. But here's the key technical detail. The Shahed was armed with an R-60 missile.
An R-60, that's an old air-to-air missile for a fighter jet.
Exactly. They are so desperate, they're slapping heavy old air-to-air missiles onto slow suicide drones. It's a Frankenstein weapon. And the Ukrainian Sting still won.
That's huge. Because if they have a cheap, effective way to knock Shaheds out of the sky,
it changes the economics of air defense. Instead of a $1 million Patriot missile, use a cheap interceptor drone. Ukraine is winning the offense-defense technological race.
And they're getting help to do it. Finland sending 98 million euros, the Czechs sending anti-drone aircraft, the UK and Norway funding grid repairs.
It's a stark contrast. Ukraine is integrated into a network of support. Russia is isolated.
So we have economic rot, labor collapse, military deception. But Putin's grip on power, is it still tight? Because this news about Kadyrov feels like a crack in the foundation.
It's a major crack. We have to remember, Russia is governed by personal relationships, not institutions. Ramzan Kadyrov is the pillar of Putin's control in Chechnya. But reports say he has kidney failure, he's on dialysis, he was trying to groom his son, Adam, as a successor.
And now Adam is in the ICU.
After a mysterious car accident.
Purportedly. A mysterious car accident in that part of the world usually carries a subtext.
It usually does. If Ramzan is out of the picture and his heir is too, Chechnya becomes a powder keg. The stability there is bought with federal money, but with the budget crisis we just discussed.
It's a nightmare scenario for the Kremlin. A second front opening up inside their own borders.
Exactly. Instability there draws security forces away from Ukraine. It creates a perception of weakness, and in a dictatorial system, perception is everything.
It feels like they're juggling hand grenades. And economically, the central bank is just trying to stop them from exploding. I read about this betting on zero strategy for inflation. What is that?
It's desperation disguised as policy. Inflation is running at 7%, probably higher. To kill it, the bank has hiked rates to 21%. By doing that, they're deliberately flatlining the economy. They are betting on zero growth because any attempt to grow would cause inflation to spiral out of control.
So the goal isn't prosperity. The goal is just to stop the heart.
Suspended animation. They're trying to freeze the economy in place to support the war, but you can't freeze a rotting vegetable and expect it to be fresh when you thaw it out.
It's incredible. You look at all these threads, the gold, the China snub, the fake victories, the Chechnya crisis, and they all converge right now, January 2026.
That's the key takeaway. The Russian economy survived 2024 and 2025 on reserves and momentum. They had the gold, the oil revenue, the Soviet stockpiles, but now the gold is 71% gone. The oil revenue is down. The workforce is hollowed out.
It feels like the engine is finally seizing up.
The junkyard economy can only run for so long. You run out of parts. 2026 isn't just a new year, it's the year the bill finally comes due.
That's a terrifying prospect for the Kremlin, but a crucial insight for anyone watching this. The facade is crumbling.
It raises the ultimate question. How long can a junkyard economy fight a modern war before the wheels literally fall off? We might just be about to find out.
And that is the thought we're going to leave you with today. A sobering picture, but one that cuts through the propaganda. You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Aria, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry.
Thanks for listening.
And remember, if you want to keep getting these insights, subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.